Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi, streaming at supertalk.fm and SuperTalk TV. Glad to have you along. Thanks for spending part of your rainy morning with us across the state of Mississippi. Happy to introduce to you Emily Purifoy. She is a student member of Turning Point, the Ole Miss chapter, and also takes classes in the Freedom Center, the Declaration Center, the University of Mississippi Declaration of Independence Center. Easier just to say,
it's a mouthful.
Easier just to say the Freedom Center as well. But Freedom Studies scholar there as well. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for coming by. I love the student perspective. We've had a couple of those this morning. So let's just start big picture. This event tonight.
Yeah.
What are people talking about? What are people saying on campus?
There's a lot of excitement. I mean, I have a lot of friends who I know are into politics and are still interested to come, and that's been awesome. Actually, the Declaration Center, we've been doing some fun little reels going around campus asking students, do you know who J.D. Vance is? Do you know that he's coming?
I hope the answer is yes. I know who he is for the most part.
Mostly yeses. There's I think a surprising amount of no's, but that's okay. Hopefully that this will help educate people. But I think there's a positive atmosphere around it. People are excited. They want to see their vice president. It was a big thing that happened a couple months ago, and it sparked a lot of interest. I have heard of students who are pretty unhappy about what's happening and have talked about going in and saving seats and then leaving so that conservative students can't come in and listen. I don't really know if that will work out for them. I hope it doesn't, but I also hope that maybe they'll stay and listen. They might find it interesting. So
well, and that's one of the things that was so fascinating about Charlie Kirk and the way he engaged. It wasn't combative. It was generally open conversations where he was willing to talk and debate. Can that part of Turning Point live on? I really hope so. I think it's hard. I think he had a really good personality for it. And I think we will not be able to fully fill his shoes, but sure. I would hope that we would be able to carry that on. I know Turning Point chapter here is trying to create some tabling with conversations and things like that, and I hope that will do well. I mean, I'm even hoping that maybe if it's not an official event, that there can be more conversations just on campus at the lunch table, and even for me, having the courage to maybe speak out and give my opinion when someone makes a blanket statement about something with the government, turn it into a conversation. Sure. You obviously are engaged, right? I mean, you're taking classes within the Declaration Center. You're involved with Turning Point. So I'm assuming that you have conversations with maybe like-minded students, maybe less like-minded students about things that are going on. But, the college campus from a larger sense. I mean, students are talking about football and basketball and parties and swaps and classes and whatever. Are there conversations that are happening, maybe more so than there have been in the past?
There are more now, that's for sure. I think there are more now. I think people like to avoid that kind of conversation because it feels like conflict. I don't think students really understand the difference between a conversation and conflict.
Which is so very Southern of us, by the way.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about church. We're not going to talk about politics. Well, that's good to know, though.
Yeah. But I hope that there's more conversations that come about because it doesn't have to be conflict. It can be a conversation.
Tell me about the Declaration Center. This is it's still relatively new. We talked with Dr. Scoltetti earlier this morning. We talked as well with Rankin Shirley.
Yeah.
And kind of laid out what's going on with some of those classes, how they're based on the founding documents. What's that been like for you?
I've loved it. I did not know about it coming into school. I found out about it, I think, midway through my freshman year. Was super excited. I feel like, especially hearing people like Charlie talk, you realize how little you know. And so I think I realized I need to be educated. And yeah, they're great at educating us. The classes they're interesting. You learn a lot. So for the Freedom Studies minor, you just fulfill that minor credit taking those Freedom Studies classes. And then there's some electives they have in there. And then there's the Thursday night symposiums, which are awesome. And those are just voluntarily come, listen to different speakers, talk, get to know other students. I've met people who I never would have met on campus if I hadn't done the program, who are like-minded and want to learn more.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really great. It's awesome.
Well, one of the things that Rankin and I talked about it's so incredible. If you rewind 250 years and you look at the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights and the Federalist Papers, the founding fathers of our country didn't all see eye to eye. They didn't agree with everything.
No.
And I mean, they, knocked down dragouts, but it was all about the greater good. And the documents that they created have lasted 250 years and still seem pretty relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's shocking to even think about how little I understand of our governmental system and our founding documents. I'm actually in Dr. Sherling's class, and we've been talking about the walkouts that happened when we were putting together our Constitution, and that was not always easy. People did not always get along.
Yeah.
But I think that's something to learn from, that we can have different perspectives, but their goal was the greater good.
But I feel like in a politically divided world we live in, there's so many people that don't realize how fraught with difference the creation of our country was.
Yeah, it was not perfect. It was not like everyone was for the same thing.
No.
And I think that's something that I've noticed in political conversations, is that there's maybe not a similar mindset of I don't know, there's a similar mindset of wanting the same greater good. That there's not that, we don't really see eye to eye in that area. I think that's where a lot of the conflict comes in.
Yeah. What are you most interested in tonight? What's the thing that you're most looking forward to tonight with the Turning Point tour?
I'm interested to see the turnout. I think it's going to be full, but I'm interested to see what that's like. And I'm really interested to see what Vance is going to say. I really like Erika Kirk, but I feel like I've heard a little bit more of her speeches, especially in the last couple months. But I'm really excited to see what Vance is going to say. He's a very interesting political figure to me. I started reading his memoir, I think, last summer.
Hillbilly Elegy.
Yes, it's very, very interesting. And I think I'm a Southern Studies major, so I also find his memoir very interesting. And I think he's a picture of the American dream, really working towards being a political figure and making change from a poor background. So I'm excited what he's going to have to say to the students.
Yeah. That's a fascinating perspective. Within the Southern Studies program, are you on an island of one in terms of a conservative, or is that a program that has become more diverse?
I definitely feel a little alone there. That's been an interesting thing for me to be a part of. I kind of expected coming into the program that it would be a little more liberal leaning, and I knew that I would probably disagree with a lot of my professors. I'm been interested in what the students think, that I've started asking some of my classmates, what do you think about what we're learning? Do you agree with this? Do you just what do you think about it? And I've gotten a lot of responses of students who are a little scornful of what we're learning in the classroom. Some students just don't care, and other students also are not super happy with what we're being taught.
So why did you choose Southern Studies?
I grew up in the South, and I really love Southern culture. My dad went to Vanderbilt, and I even read my freshman year. I read I'll Take My Stand. He recommended that to me, and I really like Southern culture. I think it's important, even though I disagree with a lot of the professors, it's important to continue that open conversation and to have students that maybe disagree. I really respect Katie McKee, the head of the program, and I've spoken with her about this.
Yeah, well, and I'm curious if your professors are willing to engage at an academic level, or if it's, no, this is how it is, and don't want to hear a dissenting viewpoint or a viewpoint that asks questions.
I think it varies from professor to professor. I generally keep my mouth shut and just listen in class. I'm afraid. But I think it varies from professor to professor. But I don't think there's enough conversation at all.
I think that's a really interesting perspective that you bring, because we hear people talk about on college campuses there's this liberal ideology, and professors are, shoving their ideas down students' throats, and sometimes you wonder if that's blown out of proportion, but you're doing that on a day-to-day basis,
I don't think it is.
You say it's not blown out of proportion.
No, and I'm the youngest I have two older sisters, and they've been through multiple colleges, mostly Christian colleges, so different experience than I have had. But I don't think it's blown out of proportion, unfortunately.
We talked with Kenneth earlier this morning, the vice president of Turning Point, and he said that the growth of the chapter since Charlie's death has just been off the charts. Is that sustainable?
I really, really hope so. I think it will be. I've just heard a lot of students feel, and I felt this myself, like a need to become more educated, to actually have a say in what's going on politically, not only on your college campus, but then in your life afterwards. Like, I think students are they're gonna stay.
Outstanding. Emily, I really appreciate your time this morning.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, and wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Emily Purifoy, she is a Freedom Studies scholar within that program within the Declaration Center. We're going to wrap things up for you coming up next. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Quick timeout. We're back to wrap it up after this.